OpenAI made $13 billion last year. It also lost about $21 billion doing it. This is a company valued at over $150 billion, backed by some of the biggest investors in the world. So how is it possible to grow this fast and still lose this much money? Since ChatGPT launched in late 2022, OpenAI's growth has been almost unmatched in tech history. Revenue went from under $4 billion in 2024 to over $13 billion in 2025, a 253% jump in a single year. But growth isn't the same as profit, and OpenAI's costs grew even faster than its revenue. In 2025, OpenAI spent $34 billion to bring in that $13 billion in revenue. Nearly $20 billion of that went straight into research and development, building and training the next generation of AI models. That's more money than the entire company made. Here's why that number is so massive. Unlike a typical software company, where the biggest cost is usually engineers' salaries, OpenAI has another enormous bill: compute. Every single message sent to ChatGPT runs on expensive GPUs inside massive data centers. The more people use the product, the more electricity and computing power OpenAI has to buy, and it has hundreds of millions of users. Just running the models for existing users, what's called inference, cost over $7 billion in 2025 alone. And a huge chunk of all of this went to one company, Microsoft, which OpenAI paid $17.2 billion in 2025 for cloud computing power. The headlines reported a $38.5 billion loss for 2025. That's technically true. But much of that came from a one-time accounting adjustment tied to OpenAI's restructuring from a nonprofit into a for-profit company. Strip that adjustment out, and the underlying operating loss was closer to $21 billion. Still enormous, but a very different story than the headline number suggests. And even that number isn't perfectly agreed upon. Different reports calculate it slightly differently depending on which one-time charges they exclude. There isn't one universally accepted real number here, just different ways of measuring the same messy picture. It's not all bad news for OpenAI. By October, the company had roughly doubled its compute margins, meaning it's getting more efficient at running its models for paying users. That's a real sign the business could eventually turn a corner. But OpenAI isn't slowing down its spending either. The company is reportedly targeting around $600 billion in total compute spend through 2030, a staggering bet that the AI race will pay off before the cash runs out. If OpenAI is losing this much money today, why are investors still lining up to pour billions into it? Some analysts, like Sebastian Mallaby at the Council on Foreign Relations, have warned that if OpenAI can't keep raising capital or improve its margins, its cash needs could become a serious challenge, with some estimates suggesting a critical point within roughly 18 months. That's one analyst's opinion, not a forecast from OpenAI itself. Others argue the company is well-positioned to keep funding its expansion. OpenAI has already closed funding at a $157 billion valuation, with Microsoft, Nvidia, and SoftBank all buying in, and has confidentially filed for an IPO that could value it at up to $1 trillion. So which is it, a company on the edge, or a company about to become one of the most valuable in the world? Right now, both stories are true at the same time. This is the reality behind almost every major AI company right now. Massive growth, massive spending, and a race against the clock. If you want more stories that go behind the headlines on the biggest tech companies, subscribe to the Company Files. Next up, the phone company that owned half the planet and lost it all. See you then.